Okay, let's start with the session. Am I audible?
Yes, Astika.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Astika Nehra. Today, I'll be giving you an introduction and overview about the machine learning algorithms as a part of the fourth day of ACMR of Code. So, this is the agenda for today's session. First, we'll know what is ML. Then we'll get to know about the difference between ML, AI, and DL. DL is deep learning, AI is artificial intelligence, and ML, as you all know, is machine learning. Then we'll get to know the differences between supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Then we'll understand and learn about the mathematics, and we'll just look at the code of various algorithms. Classification algorithms including KNN, naive Bayes, decision tree, and SVM. Regression algorithms, linear regression SVR, clustering algorithms K means. Towards the end, we'll understand like what happens if ML machine learning gets in wrong hands with deepfake AI. And towards the end, we'll discuss some project ideas for beginners. So now what exactly is machine learning? It is the process through which machine learns, if that sounds sensible. The machine can learn from past data that has been fed into it, or it can learn by making mistakes. Now, as the amount of data fed in the machine learning model increases, the accuracy and the prediction of the machine learning model also increases because the machine learning model gets more data through on which it can learn and gets more experiences for the future. Now, when you make an ML model is nothing but an algorithm. It is a basic algorithm which consists of basic mathematical formulas and which contains a very like decent amount of coding. So like whenever you make ML model, you have to split your data into two groups or sometimes three groups: training, testing, and sometimes validation. Training is used for training your ML model so that it can gain some experience. Validation data is used for checking the performance of the model after being trained on the training data. Like validation data is used for changing the hyperparameters. Hyperparameters are basically additional parameters like that amount to less differences in the output. So then there is the text testing data. Testing data is used for testing the final results of the model, after which the model is ready for deployment. Now, why is ML so hyped? We see everywhere that ML सीख लो, ML सीख लो. क्यों ML सीखें भाई? क्या है उसमें ऐसा? The reasons are because it has a lot of applications ranging from predicting ratings of a movie, predicting stock prices, to making AI based robots or humanoids. Uh, and drones which can be combined with IoT that can sense and display emotions just as humans do. Now, this humanoid robo Sophia, which is at the right of the slide, is an example of a tech which is formed with a combination of both artificial intelligence and machine learning. It was first displayed in Texas, and like it can sense emotions and display behavioral changes just as humans do. Now, while preparing a machine learning model and training the data, what are the basic steps involved? There are five major steps involved in making an ML model. First is to get the data. By getting the data, we means by extracting the data from websites or using real life observations as data. Second step is clean the data. Now, the data to be fed in the model as always has to be homogeneous. By homogeneous, I mean to say that it always has to be of the same kind. Like if a attribute contains integer, then it cannot have a floating point as a value. If one feature is an integer, then all the features have to be an integer. And in text data, when the data is in the form of a text, by cleaning of data, it means to remove unnecessary symbols like punctuation marks, etc., from the data. Third step is training a model. Now, model, as I said, is nothing but a machine learning algorithm that you want to develop your ML system on. Now, training the model means that you make your model learn from previous that you make your model learn from the previous data, so it can predict future predictions correctly. The fourth step is testing the data. The model is now tested for the test data, and accuracy and performance of the model is evaluated. If the accuracy is not good, then we go to step 5, that is improvement of the model. By improvement of the model, we can do it by changing the hyperparameters, or we can do it by changing the entire ML algo itself. It depends on our individual individualness. So, after the fifth step, the first step is repeated all over again. Now, ML, AI, and DL, what is this? A lot of people get confused that with machine learning and artificial intelligence, I mean, these three are not the same. AI enables machine to think, analyze, and feel emotions just as humans, and it is done without human intervention. Like uh, when you feed a data into a robot or a humanoid, when it displays emotions just as humans do, that part is called AI, artificial intelligence. Machine learning is a subset of AI which is used for building systems through which AI robots can act as humans. It is done by training an algorithm, also known as a model, on a data and then evaluating the results. DL, that is deep learning, is also a technique that is inspired by the way human filters information. It is also a subpart of ML. Now, as I said, it works by filtering information. What does filtering of information means? Like first of all, deep learning basically consists of neural networks, and whenever the data is fed, the neurons at the first layer do some work on the data, make clean it, or fine tune it, and then it is transferred to the next layer, which through which fine tuning is done a little bit more. And it depends how many number of layers we want to give in our deep learning model, and then finally a result comes. So this involvement of layers of neurons in the model is known as filtering of information. Now, let's move on to the algorithms. Supervised and unsupervised learning algorithms. Now, in supervised learning algorithms, the data is pre categorized, which means you already know in which all categories or classes your data is being divided to. For example, labeling an email as spam or not spam. I mean, you already know that whether your email is spam or not spam. I mean, there is not another third category in which the mail can go. Either it'll go in spam or not spam. In unsupervised learning, there are no classes in which the data has to be divided. For example, categorization of fruits of similar type can be done in so many ways, like on the basis of color, on the basis of shape, on the basis of taste, on the basis of like size. So it differs from person to person. I mean, in what all basis he or she wants to classify data in unsupervised learning. Now, supervised learning consists of classification, regression, and unsupervised learning consists of clustering, association, and dimensionality reduction. In this session, we'll be studying about classification, regression, and clustering algorithms. Now, classification algorithms. As I told that we already know in which all classes we have to label our data. Like mail ko spam batana hai, not spam. It is up to us. Like there is not an other third option. So these are the classification algorithms that we'll be covering: KNN, Naive Bayes, decision tree, and SVM. SVM is stands for support vector machine. Now KNN. KNN is also known as K nearest neighbors. It is used for classifying a data point into already known classes. Distance of that data point from all other points is calculated, and then the k elements with the minimum distance from the data point are considered in the final voting process. Now, in the following image, as you can see, this is our data point. We don't know in which class it will belong. It can belong in the red class also, it can belong in the white class also. We don't know about that. So we'll be calculating the distance of this data point from all the rest of the data points, that is all the rest of these classes. And then we'll see the number of data points which have the minimum distance belong to which class. Do they belong to the red class or do they belong to the white class? If the if the data point is more close to class red, then we label it as red, otherwise we label it as white. So like in this example, uh, like this is the data point which is like a duck like structure, and it is like matched with the rest of the animals, like the rooster, the chicken, and the swan. And then the predictions are made, then the classification is done as to in which class it should go. The class with which it has the most similarity is the class whose label would be given to the data point. Now, how does KNN algorithm work? First of all, we select the number k, like how many neighbors we want to compute the distance of, like how many minimum number of neighbors. And then we calculate the Euclidean distance of k number of neighbors. Take the k nearest neighbors as per the calculated Euclidean distance. I mean, the one which has the least Euclidean distance would be given the highest preference. Among these k neighbors, count the number of data points in each category. Like if, as I told, if the data point is close to the red, if the data point is close to the red class, it will go into the red class. Otherwise, it will go into the other class, that is white. Now assign new data points to that category for which the number of neighbors is maximum. Yeah, as I told that first you'll compute the distance and then you'll see which class the data point is close to. After that, a model is ready. So let's look at the code of KNN. Is my screen visible? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So first we are importing NumPy, matplotlib.pyplot, and pandas. These three are the libraries that we need to import for running our algorithm. I'm running this code in Colab Notebook as there is no need of installing the libraries externally. You can also run it in in Jupyter Notebook. For Jupyter Notebook, you have to download Anaconda, or you can download it without Anaconda as well. You will just look at the tutorial on the net, and it's like same as Colab Notebook. This is the URL in which the data is present. Like it is the iris data. So we are just extracting data from this URL. It's the first step of the machine learning model, that is extraction of data.
I can't see the
And
screen.
the screen is visible. I think I have shared it.
No, I'm not able to see it.
Are the others able to see my screen?
Yes, we are able to see. Maybe you can like log in again.
Okay, ma'am.
Astika, please continue.
Yeah. So these names are basically the Y labels. By Y labels, I mean the classes in which the basically the attributes in which the data is present. So this is pd.read.csv. PD, as we know, we imported pandas as PD. So we don't have to write pandas every time. We can write this short form PD. So if I gave some other number like import pandas as p and run p here, then it would run the same. So we are just reading the CSV file present in this URL, and now this is the data present in the CSV file. Basically, this sepal length, sepal width, petal width, and the class in which, like Iris setosa, the class in which it belongs. Now, by default, you may have wondered that why only five are coming. By default, dataset.head gives five top five uh, top five like top five data points, and like just if we just write six here, then it would give six data points. So it depends on person to person, like what can generally top five data points are used for evaluating the data. Now, dataset.ilog. Ilog is basically uh, pandas a function of the pandas library, in which we can read the various columns of the data frame. By data frame, I mean the table, the CSV file. And dot values is used for converting that pandas library into a numpy array. Now, why we need to convert that pandas like this table into a numpy array? Because for performing mathematical calculations, you need to convert a data frame type into a numpy nd array type. Like that is compulsory, like you have to do it for performing the mathematical calculations. So like if I just run it and just print x here, this is the same information as our data frame. It's just that this one is in the form of a numpy array, and the upper one was in the form of a data frame, pandas data frame. So similarly, we are printing y here. Y is our number of classes. Now train test split. Now sklearn is a library which we use for importing all the algorithms and all the mathematical metrics, etc. Now, what is this train test split? As I explained in before, data needs to be split into a text training data and testing data. It is basically used for splitting the data into training data and testing data. So x train would be x train, y train, x test, and y test. Test size is equal to 0.20 means that the testing data will be 20% as to the total data, and the rest of the 80% of data would be the training data. Now, before we move further, like understand the further code, I just want to tell that we are using a function called standard scaler, in which the distribution is made such that the mean value of the entire distribution is 0 and the standard deviation of the entire distribution is 1. Now, as to why do we do this? Because we have to make the data homogeneous, and by making the data homogeneous, it is it makes the calculation easy, it makes the workload easy for us, and that's why we tend to first like normalize the data and then proceed further with the calculations. So like this is the formula of standard deviation, like the data point minus the mean uh, whole root of square upon the number of total data points. So we just run it. Yeah, this is our X train. This is our training data in which on which our model has to learn and predict the Y train, predict the final label of the class. So earlier, as you can see, the X was like this 5.1, 3.5, 1.4, 0.2. And now, after applying standard scalar on it, it has become like 0.45 minus 1.28, 0.57, and so on. Basically, we do this so that the data can become homogeneous. As you can see, there are almost like equal number of decimal places at every like number, and the calculation becomes easy. And as the calculation will become easy, the accuracy of the model will also improve. And our main aim is to improve the accuracy of the model, because we don't want our model to make wrong predictions. So this is this k neighbors classifier is basically the function that is used for implementing the knn algorithm in Python. And the sklearn.neighbors is the library with which we can import this k neighbors classifier. Now, as I told that we have to select k for it. Now, we are selecting k by we are selecting k by writing n neighbors is equal to 5. That means our k is equal to 5. That is, we have to find at least 5 point, like we have to find exactly like 5 points on which our data with which our data point is at minimum distance. So like if we and this classifier dot fit x train y train is basically used for training the data, like training the data on the training data set. So like yeah, we just do it. Now this question mark k neighbors classifier is basically like if you just put a question mark and then put a like function name at to uh, after it, then it will just give the details about as to how this function actually works. So this is the details about on the right hand side. You can see that these are the details about how this function actually works. It's saying that by default the k value is 5. You can always alter the k value by giving a new value over here. Like by default it's 5, and by default, like the distance which is used for calculating the distance between the data points is Euclidean. And you can change it, you can always change the distance by giving the by altering the data metric, by it can also give Minkowski distance and Manhattan distance. It depends on you. I mean, maximum amount, like maximum accuracy is it is seen that maximum accuracy is given by using the Euclidean distance. So people generally use that only. Now here we are predicting the final class on our X test. X test is our testing data. On testing data, we make the final predictions as to where our final classes would be. So we are just predicting the classes over here. Now another concept that will be used later, that in the next piece of code, is the confusion matrix. The confusion matrix is a table which is used for describing the performance of the classification model on a set of test data for which true values are known. Like if like it's the basically includes if the total number of data points is 165 and the predicted data point is no and the actual one is also no, it is coming out to be 50. Here predicted is yes, actual is no, it is coming out to be 10. Predicted no, actual yes, it is 5, and predicted yes, actual yes, it is 100. Now here predicted no, predicted actual no, like what the actual data we are given is also no and the predicted data we are given is also no. We this 50 is known as true negative, like we are final that key answer is negative, so it is known as true negative. When the predicted is yes but the actual is no, it is known as false positive, like it is giving a false result as to the data is yes but actual में it's no. Predicted no है और actual yes है, then it would be false, like it would be false negative, because predicted no है and actual yes है. और अगर predicted yes है actual भी yes है तो वो true positive हो जाएगा, क्योंकि like the prediction is right and the actual value matches with the predicted value. So we'll just like run this and print the confusion matrix. Like this is the this is our confusion matrix. Like as you can see here, actual no or predicted no 13 है, और actual yes or predicted yes 9 है. So we can say that our model has performed good because predicted yes मतलब predicted yes और actual no में 0 है और उसमें दूसरे वाले में भी 0 है. Because अगर like predicted और actual value same नहीं है, then there is some problem with our model and the accuracy needs to be improved. Now here we are calculating the error at each k value. Like at each k value we are calculating the error over here. So we are just giving the when the number of neighbors is 1, and we are just like making a loop, and then we are defining a variable knn and just giving changing the number of neighbors one by one. Like first is it is 1, then second it is 40, 2, then 3, then 40, and we are just fitting the data on x train and y train and predicting upon x test. Now, what does this mean? Like error dot append np dot mean predict I not equal to y test. When a prediction is not equal to our y test, like when a prediction is not equal to the data, like the actual data, तो उस time पे zero आएगी value, like the value would be zero. And otherwise, like if it is equal, the value would be 1. And np dot mean, क्योंकि हमारे पास हम 40 तक लूप चला रहे हैं, तो हमारे पास ऐसे 40 इंस्टेंसेस आएंगे, तो np डॉट मीन मतलब हम उस पूरे का 10 10 10 हमारे पास बहुत सीक्वेंस आ जाएगी, और फिर हम उसका मीन कैलकुलेट करेंगे एंड देन वील अपेंड इट इन दिस list. So after like just like running this code, and इसमें like the next part we are just plotting the figure as to we want to know how the data is changed, how like how the error function, how the error is changed on the changing value of k. So we are just like if we run this code, then we'll see that when k is like between 0 to 10, जब 0 से 10 के बीच में k है, तो the mean error is approximately 0.65. फिर k जैसे हमारा 10 मतलब ऐसे like 12 से 15 के बीच में आया, तो हमारा मीन एरर और कम हो गया. तो हमारा जो एम होता है दैट इज टू रिड्यूस दिस मीन एरर बाय ऑल मीन्स. सो हम ऐसी के वैल्यू सिलेक्ट करते हैं जिससे कि सबसे कम एरर हो. यहाँ पे like 13 से 15 के बीच में as we can see सबसे कम एरर है which is like approximately 0.2. So we'll tend to select k from here, like otherwise it'll make like wrong predictions again. So the next classification algorithm is knife base. Now knife base is also used for classifying various kinds of data into various kinds of classes. It is also used for categorizing data into known classes, the classes which we already know about. It basically uses the concept of Bayes theorem as we may have studied in 12th. This is like the Bayes theorem. Probability of C upon X is equal to probability of X by C into probability of C upon probability of X. Like probability of C by X is called the posterior probability. Probability of X by C is called the likelihood. Probability of C is called the class post prior probability, and the probability of X is known as the predictor prior probability. Like these are the names which are predefined. Like these names are predefined, and like PC by X basically means कि what is the probability such that an event C occurs provided event X has already occurred. Now, how does the naive Bayes algorithm work? Suppose if we are given this kind of a frequency table, like this kind of a data set, like if the weather is sunny, the person will not go out to play. If the weather is rainy, the person will go out to play, and so on. Like it basically depicts whether a person will play according to the weather or not. Now, if we like make the frequency table, we just have to like plot ki how many number of people play when the weather is sunny, how many number of people play when the weather is rainy. We just have to watch out for that, and after that we create the likelihood table. In the likelihood table, we just divide the entire like these integers, we just divide it by the total number of data points that are here, the total number of data points in our first table, like this one. There are total 14 instances here, so we'll divide this by 14, entirely the whole thing by 14. So after we divide the entire thing by 14, we get these many, like all these probabilities uh, over here. Now if we want to see that, if we want to see that whether a person plays or not, uh, so this is the probability, like 0.64% chances है कि वो जो person है वो खेलेगा, and 0.29% chances हैं कि अगर वो ओवरकास्ट वेदर में खेलेगा, 0.36% चांसेस हैं कि वो रेनी वेदर में खेलेगा भी नहीं भी, क्योंकि यहाँ पे नो पे भी हमारे पास एक वैल्यू है, ऊपर हमारे पास वैल्यू नहीं थी. सो दिस इज बेसिकली लाइक द इंटायर कैलकुलेशन. ना अगर हम प्रीवियस उससे देखें, कंपेयर करें और जस्ट लाइक check kare ki whether a person will play when the weather is sunny or not, like we have to find ki is the statement correct or not. So we just find the probability using the previous formula, and after like inserting the values, we'll get ki p of yes sunny is equal to 0.6. Now 0.6 is closer to 1, and hence like the number of like the class mentioned would be yes, so the player would play. So this is how classification is done in naive Bayes. So the algorithm, like the code of naive Bayes I'm showing. Now basically in this code we have two kinds of naive Bayes algorithms are there. First is the Gaussian naive Bayes and second is the multinomial naive Bayes. Gaussian naive Bayes में हमारा जो डेटा होता है वो ऐसा सा होता है कुछ, मतलब हम अज्यूम करते हैं कि हमारी जो क्लासेस हैं वो एक बेल शेप्ड कर्व से सेपरेट हो जाएंगी. वी जस्ट अज्यूम दैट. एंड लाइक एक और नाइव बेस एल्गोरिथम होता है, मल्टीनोमियल नाइव बेस एल्गोरिथम. उसमें लाइक कोई भी ग्राफ बन सकता है, दैट डिपेंड्स अपॉन अस, लाइक हम कितने डायमेंशंस का ग्राफ हो सकता है. इट कैन बी क्वाड्रेटिक, इट कैन बी क्यूबिक, इट कैन बी बाई क्वाड्रेटिक. सो इसमें हम गॉसियन नाइव बेस देखेंगे क्योंकि मल्टीनोमियल इज अ बिट टफ. तो देखते हैं. तो पहले हमने तो sklearn से import Gaussian naive Bayes करा. sklearn is again like a library in which everything like every function is there. जो भी हमें machine learning algorithms करने हैं उसमें सारे functions होते हैं. फिर sklearn में data sets भी होता है. data sets में we can work on various kinds of data sets. फिर हमने pandas करा. Pandas is used for working on like data frames. Data frames मतलब table. फिर हमने कन्फ्यूजन मैट्रिक्स बनाई। कन्फ्यूजन मैट्रिक्स मतलब कि हमारा जो प्रिडिक्शन है कितना सही है। So we are just loading the iris data set over here. Iris data set is the data set that we used in the previous question कि petal length, sepal width, petal width के अकॉर्डिंग हमें लाइक कैटेगराइज करना है एज टू कहाँ पे मतलब कौन से टाइप का फ्लावर वो है। तो हमने वेरिएबल क्रिएट करा GNB इज इक्वल टू गॉसियन NB। ये एक गॉसियन NB क्लास का एक वेरिएबल है, तो हम यहाँ से उसका वेरिएबल क्रिएट कर रहे हैं। अब iris डॉट डेटा और iris डॉट टारगेट क्या होता है? iris डॉट डेटा इज बेसिकली द एक्स ट्रेन मतलब ट्रेनिंग डेटा, और iris डॉट टारगेट होता है लाइक हमारा जो जिस क्लास में हमें प्रिडिक्शन करनी है, बेसिकली इट्स द वाई ट्रेन। तो इसमें हम फिट कर रहे हैं अपने मॉडल को, और हम बाद में लाइक प्रिडिक्ट कर रहे हैं iris डॉट डेटा के उस पे मतलब टेस्टिंग डेटा पे। So we are just like then we make the confusion matrix over here कि हमारा जो iris डॉट टारगेट मतलब एक्चुअल में क्या वैल्यू आई है और हमने क्या प्रिडिक्ट करी है वैल्यू, उसमें हम कंफ्यूजन मैट्रिक्स बनाएंगे इधर। तो फिर हमने लाइक यहाँ पे कंफ्यूजन मैट्रिक्स बना दी। सो दिस इज आर ट्रू नेगेटिव, दिस इज आर ट्रू पॉजिटिव। 50 हमारा ट्रू नेगेटिव है, मतलब कि आंसर भी नेगेटिव था और हमारा प्रिडिक्शन भी नेगेटिव आया है। और 47 हमारा ट्रू पॉजिटिव है, मतलब आंसर पॉजिटिव है और हमारा प्रिडिक्शन भी 47 आया है। और बाकी का 0 0 है, मतलब जो हमारा एल्गोरिथम है वो सही काम कर रहा है। सो वी आर जस्ट लाइक प्रिंटिंग द iris डॉट डेटा ओवर हियर। iris डॉट डेटा इज मतलब किस किस डेटा पे हमें ट्रेन करना है। सो इट्स सेम एज द प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन एज। फिर लेंथ ऑफ iris डॉट टारगेट। iris डॉट टारगेट क्या था हमारा कि जो हमें क्लासेस पहले से ही पता है कि ये डेटा इन इन क्लासेस में क्लासिफाई हो रहा है, वो है हमारा iris डेटा। तो अगर iris डॉट टारगेट, तो अगर हम इसे प्रिंट करा के देखेंगे एक बार, तो ये ऐसे ऐसे कुछ आएगा। मतलब हमारे पास लाइक जो हमारा पहला डेटा पॉइंट है वो 0 क्लास का है, जो हमारा ये वाला डेटा पॉइंट है वो फर्स्ट क्लास का, और ये वाला डेटा पॉइंट सेकंड क्लास का है। सो बाय 0 1 and 2 का मतलब ये नहीं है कि हम नंबर्स में क्लासिफाई कर रहे हैं अपना डेटा। इट इज बेसिकली द काइंड ऑफ फ्लावर इन विच वी आर क्लासिफाइंग द डेटा। वो बस वो फ्लावर को एज क्लासेस कर देता है खुद नाइव बेस। तो ये करा हमने। और अगर हम अपना प्रिडिक्शन चेक करेंगे तो प्रिडिक्शन हमारा थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट आएगा। लाइक वी कैन सी यहाँ पे हमारा 2 है, जबकि इधर हमारा कोई 2 नहीं है। यहाँ पे हमारा एक और 2 है, इधर हमारा कोई 2 नहीं है। तो ऐसे लाइक कुछ कुछ डिफरेंसेस होंगे। फिर अगर हम अपने उसकी एक्यूरेसी देखें, sklearn dot matrix is basically like a submodule through which we can import various mathematical like features of the sklearn library, and accuracy हमारी आई है 0.96, that is 96%, which is quite good enough. So now let's move on to the next algorithm, decision tree. Now decision tree is basically it is an algorithm which is used for both regression and classification tasks. Like regression भी कर सकते हैं, classification भी कर सकते हैं. How can it be used for regression? Because we can predict like the future values by considering the older values fed in the regression tree. And classification task मतलब वो हमें डेटा गिवन होगा, हम उसको उसको क्लासेस में वो स्प्लिट कर सकते हैं। तो एज नॉर्मल ट्री होता है, जैसे बाइनरी ट्री होता है या बी ट्री होता है, बिल्कुल वैसे ही सिमिलर सा रूट नोड्स होती है, इंटीरियर नोड्स होती हैं और लीफ नोड्स भी होती हैं इसमें। सो द टॉप मोस्ट नोड इज द रूट नोड, एंड देन द इंटीरियर नोड्स, एंड देन द लीफ नोड्स विच डू नॉट हैव एनी चिल्ड्रन। Now, this is the example of a decision tree. Uh, in this case, the decision tree has been used as a classification algorithm. कि सैलरी अगर हमारी $50,000 और $80,000 के बीच में नहीं है तो वील डिक्लाइन दी ऑफर, अदरवाइज हम क्या करेंगे, ऑफिस नियर होम देखेंगे। सबसे सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट फीचर सैलरी है, उसके बाद हम ये देखेंगे कि हमारा ऑफिस घर के पास है या नहीं। फिर नेक्स्ट में वील जस्ट split the data again and then we'll just go yes or no, and if the office is not near our home, then we'll decline the offer again, and if it is, then we'll check the caf facility, and then again we'll do the same. So let's look at the example of decision tree, like the coding. We are importing the libraries over here. Pandas import करा, decision tree classifier import करा sklearn से, train test split करा, train test split which I told पहले कि it is used for splitting our data into training and testing data. फिर metrics import करी हम, जिससे calculation of accuracy, like accuracy calculation निकाल सकें जिससे. So we'll just run it, and फिर हमने ये वाला डेटा सेट यूज करा है diabetes.csv. इट इज बेसिकली लाइक 1 अगर डायबिटीज है उसे होगा, और 0 अगर डायबिटीज नहीं है तो 0 और 1 हमारी क्लासेस है। 1 की इफ द पर्सन इज डायबिटिक, और 0 इफ द पर्सन इज नॉट डायबिटिक। तो ये हमारे कॉलम नेम्स है, like pregnancy, glucose, BP. So we'll just read the CSV file पहले. So we are just reading the CSV file through the pandas library, and पहले हमने head से करा. Now पहले मैंने बताया था ना कि ये head हमेशा पहली 5 वैल्यूज देगा, तो 0 से 4 इसने वैल्यूज दी हैं। तो पहले वाले जो रो है उसका लेबल 1 है, ऐसी सेकंड वाले रो का लेबल 0 है। तो पहला वाला पर्सन जो है डायबिटिक है, सेकंड वाला पर्सन डायबिटिक नहीं है, इसका मतलब ये है। तो हम यहाँ पे अपना एक्स और वाई बेसिकली अलग अलग कर रहे हैं। एक्स इज बेसिकली ये सब, प्रेगनेंसी, ग्लूकोज, बीपी, स्किन अप टू एज, यहाँ तक हमारा एक्स होगा, दैट इज दीज आर द इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स। और वाई हमारा होगा ये 1 0 जो भी हमारी क्लासेस है जिन पे हमें सेग्रीगेट करना है अपना डेटा। या सो नेक्स्ट में हम अपना डेटा अगेन स्प्लिट कर रहे हैं। दिस थिंग इज यूज्ड फॉर स्प्लिटिंग द डेटा इनटू ट्रेनिंग एंड टेस्टिंग, विच इज डन हमेशा हमेशा किया जाता है ये। तो यहाँ पे टेस्ट साइज हमने 0.3 दिया है, विच मीन्स टेस्टिंग डेटा इज 30% एंड ट्रेनिंग डेटा इज 70% ऑफ द इंटायर डेटा। फिर हमने डिसीजन ट्री क्लासिफायर लगाया और एक्स ट्रेन और वाई ट्रेन पे फिट किया, and then we just predicted the values of y, y predict हमने एक वेरिएबल बनाया which is the prediction of the testing data, and our testing data was x test. So ये डिसीजन ट्री क्लासिफायर हो गया हमारा। और फिर नेक्स्ट हम एक्यूरेसी प्रिंट करेंगे। So the accuracy here is, as you can see, 67.9, approximately 70%, which all accuracy should be above optimal accuracy. So it's just taking some time to run. Yeah, so the accuracy is 67.9. And now uh, this piece of code is basically used for uh, printing the decision tree. Like, how are we printing the decision tree? sklearn में sklearn externals dot 6 is a sub module with string io is used is basically a function जिससे हम वो फाइल्स रीड कर सकते हैं जिसमें सिर्फ स्ट्रिंग वाला डेटा है, तो हम उससे कर रहे हैं। और ipython dot display is basically used for displaying images. Py dot plus is basically like py dot plus एक ऐसा like उससे ऐसी क्लास होती है जिससे हम ये जो है string io टाइप की फाइल को रीड कर सकते हैं। सो वी आर जस्ट डूइंग दैट। हमने यहाँ पे एक वेरिएबल बनाया डॉट डेटा स्ट्रिंग आईओ का, और हमने ग्राफविस से एक्सपोर्ट ग्राफविस इज बिल्ट इन फंक्शन जिससे हम अपना पूरा ग्राफ बना रहे हैं डिसीजन ट्री का। फिर हमारा जो ऊपर जो डेटा था स्ट्रिंग की फॉर्म में था, तो हम उसको लाइक ग्राफ की फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं पाई डॉट प्लस यूज करके। एंड फाइनली हम पूरी की पूरी फाइल पूरे के पूरे डेटा को ऊपर लाइक पीएनजी फाइल में डायबिटीज डॉट पीएनजी इमेज फाइल इमेज फॉर्मेट में कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं, तो हमारी इमेज ऐसे दिखेगी कुछ लाइक दिस would be our final decision tree. Yeah, this is our final decision tree. It is like very has very high number of attributes, like so you cannot see it, but like if you just look at it carefully, you'll see that glucose is less than इक्वल टू 129 के इक्वल है। ये चीज़ फॉल्स होगी तो हम नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट फीचर्स की तरफ मूव करेंगे। अगर ये चीज़ ट्रू होगी तो हम कुछ और फीचर्स कंसिडर करेंगे। तो हमारा ये सब होता है। तो लाइक एट द एंड ऑफ द लाइक जो हमारी लीफ नोड्स होती हैं दैट इज बेसिकली आर प्रिडिक्टेड डेटा, लाइक हमारा फाइनल में लाइक पर्सन डायबिटिक है या नहीं है ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ सो मेनी पैरामीटर्स। The next algorithm that we'll see, next classification algorithm is the support vector machine. We won't be doing its code. I would suggest that you try to like understand its code पहले खुद से, and then if you have any doubts then you can always ask me. So yeah, now vector machine is basically used for finding a hyperplane in an n-dimensional space. What is a hyperplane? It is nothing, it is just a plane. Why it is known as hyperplane? Because it is used for like classifying the data points into various classes. So अगर हम ये देखें, इसमें देखें, ये हमारा 2 डायमेंशनल डेटा है। वी आर हैविंग 2 क्लासेस red and blue, red squares and blue circles. So we'll just like these dotted lines represent our like boundary lines, and this normal straight line is our optimal hyperplane. Now what our aim is to basically uh, find the optimal hyperplane ki line such that the distance between these two boundary lines is the maximum, and for having like for getting the maximum accuracy. And these boundary lines are basically like वो वाला ब्लू डेटा पॉइंट जो कि ग्रीन डेट जो सबसे लाइक लास्ट में जो रेड डेटा पॉइंट है उसके सबसे पास में है, वहां से डिसीजन बाउंड्री स्टार्ट करेंगे ब्लू साइड की, और रेड साइड की हम करेंगे वो वाला डेटा पॉइंट रेड साइड वाला जो कि ब्लू के सबसे पास में है। तो हम ऐसे करेंगे और मैक्सिमाइज करने की कोशिश करेंगे इस डिस्टेंस को, and then optimal hyperplane will just be in the middle of these two, like these two decision boundaries. So left side में जो आपको दिख रहा है that is the optimal hyperplane in a two-dimensional space. And on the right side, you can see that it's the optimal hyperplane in a three-dimensional space. Now we'll be moving on to the regression algorithms. Now, what is like regression? Regression algos basically are used for establishing the relationship between uh, x axis, like in on which the independent attributes are, and on the y axis on which the dependent attributes are, and predict their output for the future data. The first regression algorithm is linear regression. So as you can see, like as the number of iterations are increasing, the line is getting closer and closer to its optimal point. And by optimal point, I mean maximum number of data points should lie on the line such that the perpendicular distance of each data point from the line is minimized. So for finding the equation, like the equation of this kind of a linear regression line is in the form of ax plus b, where a is the coefficient and b is the bias. So finding like the linear regression equation by hand, first we'll make a chart of our data. So हमारे पास we are given x age as x and glucose level as y, and then we'll calculate xy, x square and y square key values, and then after we are done calculating, we'll just like uh, take the summation of all these three: sigma x, which is 247, sigma y, which is 428, sigma xy, which is 20485, and sigma x square 11409, sigma y square 40022. So this would be our like final values. And now we'll use the equations given on our right hand side for calculating the values of a and b. A was our coefficient, b was our in this case b is our coefficient and a is our bias. So after we are done calculating a and b, we are getting a to be 65.14, b to be 0.3525, 0.3852. So we'll just substitute the values in y dash is equal to a plus bx. So we'll get y dash is equal to 61.54 plus 0.38 into x. So we'll just look at the code of linear regression. Yeah, first we are importing all the libraries over here. NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib is used for plotting the graphs. Train test split is used for splitting the data into X train and Y train. And linear regression is a new like function which is with which we'll be implementing our algorithm. So these are the data sets that we are using over here. We are using the stock price prediction data set. Like we are given the stock prices of past 5 years, and we have to calculate the stock prices of the next 20 days. So this is like the URL that I prefetched over here. So we'll just run the whole code. Yeah, so like this is the stock price. Like in the initial like year, it was three three $332.83, and then it was $333.87, and so on. Now dfx dot values, why we did it. I told you like when we were seeing the code of knn, we do it so that our data frame object can be converted into a numpy object. And why do we do so? Because after like converting the data frame object into a numpy array, our calculation becomes much easy. So we just convert it into numpy array, and we'll just split our data into x train, y train, x test. We are just printing the shape over here, like xtrain dot shape. Xtrain dot shape basically will give all the values, that all the number of rows which are present in our xtrain data, like the training data. We can see there are 1257 data values in our xtrain, and only like one column, that is the one column is for price, so there's no need for. Yeah. Next we'll just like plot this entire thing, x train and y train. As you can see, it follows a linear pattern, like it like basically you can see like there you can imagine a line over here, and that line is basically a linear regression equation. So now we'll just make a linear regression model, and we fit our data, we fit our model on X train and Y train data. We'll predict the accuracy on the training data set. It is not on the testing data set. This is on the training data set. So on the training data set, we're getting a good accuracy of 99.7%. After that, we calculate it on the like. After that, we'll calculate the Y prediction, like Y predicted value of Y, that is Y test, on the basis of like X test values. So we are just getting over. We just predicted the Y test over here. Len of X test is equal to 19. What does that mean? We are given, like we are given in the question that we have to calculate the stock prices of the next 20 days. So we are just like given, so that's why it's coming out to be 19, and these are the values of Y test for the next 20 days. And after that, we'll just plot the data, plot our prediction of the next 20 days on our final data. So the blue ones, as you can see, is was our original data, and the yellow ones, like the orange ones, are our predicted data. So as you can see, like the orange ones fall in that line. So it's basically they follow the linear regression equation. Now the last algorithm is support vector regressor. Now, as we studied before, like support vector machine is used for classification purposes. Now, support vector regressor is sort of a sub part, or you can say like a different part of a support vector machine. Like support vector machines can be used for classification as well as regression. When a support vector machine is used for classification, it is known as support vector classifier. When the support vector machine is used for regression, it is known as support vector regressor. So in support vector regressor, our basic aim is not to classify the data in various classes. That is to be done by the support vector classifier. Our main aim is to find that optimal hyperplane, as you can see in this image, on which the maximum number of data points lie. Like as we did in linear regression, we considered that line on which the maximum number of data points were lying. So in this also, we'll just consider that plane in which the maximum number of data points would lie. And then the best fit line or the best fit plane would be our optimal hyperplane. Optimal hyperplane in case of 3D like feature space, and optimal line in case of 2D feature space. Now, the last algorithm that we'll be seeing is the clustering algorithm. Clustering algorithm, as I told at the beginning, is a form of an unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning may we don't know like the classes in which our data is to be split. We just know that we have to split the data. On what basis, we don't know that. Like we just know that we have to split these many fruits on the basis of size, on the basis of shape, on the basis of color. That's totally up to us. I mean, we can split it in n number of ways. So k means is used for doing that. So yeah, we try to find homogeneous groups in subgroups in K means. Homogeneous group subgroups का मतलब like cluster number 1 should not have like similarity with cluster number 2, and this is again this is again calculated through Euclidean based distance or any distance, but like it is seen that Euclidean based distance gives us the maximum accuracy. So this is like the basic intuition behind K means. First, we'll initialize random centroids, and then we'll see that the centroids that we initialized are correct or not. By and we'll do it by calculating the distance of of the centroid by each data point. So as you can see, the centroids are moving in the middle right now. So this is the basic step that we did here. This is the intuition. Now here, as I told, ki we don't know. We can classify the fruits on the basis of color, also on the basis of shape. Also, we don't know exactly in what all classes that we have to classify our fruits in. So we just quickly look at the code of k-means. Now first we are importing the various kinds of libraries over here: NumPy, Matplotlib, and k-means is the function which is used for implementing k-means classifier, like k-means clustering algorithm over here. Sklearn, there is a function called makeblobs in sklearn.dataset module submodule, which is used for making clusters in form of a graph. Like, so we'll just quickly run it. X and Y, we are basically splitting our data into X and Y, like the independent variable and the dependent variable. Y is our number of classes, like the number of, here we are giving centers is equal to 3, which means we want our data to be split into like 3 number of classes. Random state is equal to 11 means like how much like how much differences do we want in our classes, like do we want it on the basis of distance, do we want it on the basis of like shape or something like that. And we just like see like the type of x is numpy array over here. We'll just quickly run it. Now as you can see, there are 3 clusters, but the 3 clusters are not actually visible. Like these 2 clusters are mixed together, like the top 2 clusters, these 2 clusters are being mixed together. So how do we resolve it? As I told you, the random state is used for doing that, and the optimal value of random state that has been calculated through like various observations and seen is 42. Like 42 is the optimal value of the random state. And we'll just look at the difference, at what difference does it make in our class. So we'll just see it. So as you can see, now the classes have been separated quite with a good number of like distance. There is a good number of distance in between all these classes. So now we'll just run the k-means algorithm. K-means bracket में 3 इसलिए लिखा है because 3 number of classes है हमारी. So we want 3 number of centroids to be there in between every class. So we are just fitting our model now, and we are predicting the labels. These are the labels, like the first data point belongs to first class, the second data point belongs to first class, this third data point belongs to second class, and so on. Now we'll be like again just plotting all these clusters on the basis of color, and the color is decided on the basis of class कि 0 class में है, 1 class में है या 2 class में है. और अगर हम क्लस्टर्स निकालने की कोशिश करेंगे तो ये हमारे क्लस्टर्स आएंगे, लाइक -0 पॉइंट, पहला क्लस्टर है -0.25 और 9, जो कि इधर लाई करेगा समवेयर अराउंड हियर. Second cluster is minus 6.8 or minus 6.78, which will lie somewhere around here. And the third one is 4.7 and 2.05, which is over here. So like it's exactly in the middle. So we found the clusters, and if we like plot the clusters over here, we can see like the first cluster, the first centroid is over here, the second centroid is over here, and the third centroid is over here. Now the last topic is the deepfake AI. Now we saw many applications of ML and AI, but whenever like AI falls in wrong hands or is not used correctly, it can cause a lot of trouble too. Deepfake AI is used to create convincing images, audios, or video hoaxes. Like in deepfake AI, the voice of a person is mapped with the face of another person. Like it's similar to the voice actors dubbing for an anime. And like if a video hoax like that is created somehow, then you cannot do anything about it. So these are some good project ideas that you can start to begin with machine learning. Movie recommendations like is basically like the classification mechanism. You can use knn algorithm over here. Stock price prediction, as we saw, it is used by like it can be used, like it can be calculated through linear regression. Human activity recognition with smartphones, it is also like a classification algorithm. Sorting specific tweets on Twitter. Now now there is another kind of a machine learning technique, like it is also sub part of machine learning. It is called NLP, natural language processing, in which we do some stuff with data, like play with the data. Like machine learning mein we played with the CSV files and we predicted data on it. NLP mein we play with the textual data, like English mein likha hua paragraph. Next is turning handwritten documents into digitized version. It is like simple and OCR, optical character recognition. It is a like a application of machine like application of deep learning it is done using neural networks. Sentiment analyzer is again classification. Healthcare, you can do it, like you can do so many projects on healthcare, be it classification or like regression. And then now as prepare ML algorithms from scratch is like the innovative kind of thing that can be done. Like we saw Naive Bayes and KNN many algorithms through sklearn library. You can also like prepare ML algorithms from scratch by writing the whole code, like by creating the data points, by like creating your own data. It's just like fascinating. So if you have any doubts, you can contact me at astikanhera@gmail.com, and I would love to connect with you people at LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you can find me at Astikan Hera. And there is a tip that I would like to give. If you want to start with machine learning, you should like go through the Andrew Ng course on Coursera first. Like it's a very wonderful course, and you can like easily do it. First, you'll have to get through all the mathematical equations of all the machine learning algorithms, and then you'll get through the coding part. So yeah, that's all for today's session. Thank you. Good luck. If you have any doubts, then please ask. Yeah, there will be a feedback form which is already been provided in the chat section. You just like fill that feedback form, and after filling that feedback form, I will be providing you with all the resources, the PPT, and also the code, like the entire codes. So you just need to fill that feedback form, and any queries you have, I would be glad to answer them.